Welcome. The Mercury Dime may look like an ordinary silver coin, but some examples have become prized collectibles for reasons most people never notice. Let's uncover the hidden details that separate a common find from one serious collectors eagerly search for. First coin. The 1930s Mercury Dime is one of those coins that quietly passes through collections without attracting much attention at first glance. Yet experienced numismatists know it deserves a far closer look. At first, it appears to be just another small silver dime from the early 20th century, but its story reaches far beyond its modest size. Struck during one of the most difficult economic periods in American history, this coin reflects a fascinating combination of limited production, changing demand for coinage, and the remarkable artistry of the Mercury Dime series. Before this story is over, you'll discover what authenticated examples have brought in the collector market, why some pieces command dramatically higher premiums than others, and which specific characteristics specialists examine before assigning a value. The answers have little to do with age alone, and everything to do with rarity, preservation, originality, and careful authentication. By 1930, the United States had entered the opening stages of the Great Depression following the devastating stock market crash of late 1929. Businesses were closing, unemployment was climbing rapidly, and consumer spending had slowed dramatically. As commerce declined, fewer coins were needed for everyday circulation, leading the United States Mint to reduce production across several denominations. The San Francisco Mint, identified by the small S mint mark on the reverse of the coin, struck a comparatively modest number of Mercury dimes that year. Although the official mintage exceeded 1 million pieces, many entered heavy circulation throughout the western states, where silver dimes remained essential for daily transactions. Countless examples accumulated decades of wear before collectors recognized how challenging attractive, original survivors would eventually become. The Mercury dime itself is often misunderstood because the figure on the obverse is not the Roman god Mercury at all. Instead, it represents liberty wearing a winged Phrygian cap, symbolizing freedom of thought and intellectual liberty. Designed by renowned sculptor Adolf A. Weinman, the coin debuted in 1916 and quickly became one of the most admired designs in American numismatic history. Liberty faces left with finely sculpted hair flowing beneath the winged cap, while the word Liberty curves around the rim. In God We Trust appears to the left, and the date 1930 sits below the portrait. Weinman's artistic vision blended classical symbolism with distinctly American ideals, producing a coin that remains celebrated more than a century later for its elegance and balanced composition. Turning the coin over reveals another masterpiece of symbolic design. Centered on the reverse is a fasces, a bundle of rods bound together around an axe, representing national strength through unity. Wrapped around the fasces is a graceful olive branch, signifying America's desire for peace despite possessing the strength to defend itself. The inscriptions United States of America, 1 dime, and EPLURBUSUNUM complete the design, while the tiny S mint mark appears to the left of the word 1 near the bottom of the fasces. Every genuine 1930s Mercury dime is composed of 90% silver and 10% copper, weighs approximately 2.5 grams, measures 17.9 millimeters in diameter, and features a reeded edge that helped discourage the illegal clipping of precious metal from circulating silver coins. Although more than 1 million examples left the presses in San Francisco, surviving populations tell a far different story. Most coins experienced decades of circulation, and because silver carried intrinsic value, enormous quantities of Mercury dimes were later melted during periods when bullion prices rose sharply. Others were cleaned, polished, or mishandled by owners unaware that such actions permanently reduce collector appeal. As a result, naturally preserved pieces with sharp details, original mint luster, and undisturbed surfaces have become increasingly desirable. Collectors assembling complete Mercury dime sets often discover that locating an attractive 1930s can be surprisingly difficult, particularly in higher mint state grades, where the surviving population declines dramatically and competition becomes much stronger. Condition remains one of the single most important factors affecting value. A heavily circulated example with honest, where may still attract collectors seeking an affordable representative of the date, but prices increase steadily as more original detail survives. Coins grading extremely fine or about uncirculated often display much of Liberty's hair detail and stronger feather definition, while retaining traces of mint luster in protected areas. Certified mint state specimens, particularly those graded MS64 or MS65 by respected third-party grading services, become considerably more valuable because they escaped circulation almost entirely. Fully original examples with pleasing eye appeal frequently trade in roughly the $1 to several $1,000 range, depending on certification, strike quality, and overall preservation. Exceptional certified examples displaying outstanding originality have realized even stronger prices when competitive collectors pursue them at major auctions. Strike quality introduces another layer of complexity that advanced Mercury Dime specialists carefully evaluate. San Francisco mint issues from this era often exhibit varying degrees of strike strength, especially on Liberty's hair above the ear and the horizontal bands crossing the fasces on the reverse. Collectors frequently seek coins displaying what is known as full bands, meaning the central horizontal bands remain completely separated by distinct lines without merging together. This designation reflects a particularly sharp strike rather than simple absence of wear, making genuine full bands examples significantly scarcer than ordinary mint state coins. Because achieving this designation requires both exceptional striking pressure and minimal post-strike abrasion, certified full band specimens often command substantial premiums over similarly graded examples lacking those fully defined details. Like many classic United States coins, the 1930s Mercury Dime can also present interesting mint errors and die varieties, although major errors remain genuinely scarce. Off-center strikes, clipped planchets, retained die breaks, and dramatic die cracks occasionally appear, but every unusual feature must be authenticated before any premium can be justified. Collectors should remain cautious, because damaged coins are sometimes mistakenly described as rare mint errors by inexperienced sellers. Likewise, counterfeit examples have become increasingly sophisticated due to the coin's collector popularity and silver content. Authentic pieces should exhibit correct weight, diameter, edge reading, metallic composition, and design characteristics, while suspicious examples deserve examination by established grading services such as PCGS or NGC before significant money changes hands. Professional authentication not only confirms legitimacy, but also provides confidence for both buyers and future sellers. Auction history demonstrates just how dramatically quality influences value. A circulated coin with moderate wear might appeal to a beginning collector for a relatively modest premium above its silver content, while an attractive about uncirculated example can move into a substantially higher collecting tier. Certified mint state coins with original frosty surfaces often bring around $1,500 to $3,000 depending on grade and market conditions. Pieces approaching gem quality with exceptional strike characteristics and strong eye appeal have exceeded $4,000 in competitive sales, especially when carrying the coveted full bands designation. The most extraordinary auction records belong only to elite, professionally authenticated specimens possessing remarkable preservation, exceptional strike quality, and impeccable originality. Those results should never be interpreted as typical for every 1930s Mercury Dime encountered in circulation or inherited in an old collection. Today, the 1930s Mercury Dime continues to occupy a respected position within one of America's most beloved coin series because it combines artistic beauty, historical significance, precious metal content, and a level of scarcity that rewards careful study rather than casual assumptions. Collectors searching for this date should prioritize originality over superficial brightness, avoiding coins that have been harshly cleaned, artificially toned, or improperly stored. Preservation in inert archival holders, maintaining stable humidity, minimizing direct handling, and resisting any temptation to polish the surfaces will help protect both appearance and long-term value. Ultimately, every authentic 1930s Mercury dime tells a story shaped by the hardships of the Great Depression, the craftsmanship of the San Francisco Mint, and decades of survival against the odds. Whether valued in the hundreds or several thousands of dollars, its true importance lies in the combination of rarity, condition, historical context, and professional authentication that transforms a small silver coin into a remarkable piece of American numismatic history. Next coin. Few American silver coins illustrate the difference between ordinary appearance and extraordinary collectability better than the 1941's Mercury dime. At first glance, it seems like a common 10-cent piece that once passed through countless hands during a turbulent period in American history, yet seasoned collectors recognize that exceptional examples tell a much more compelling story. The combination of wartime-era production, mint quality, preservation, and certification has transformed certain surviving pieces into highly desirable collectibles. As this documentary unfolds, you'll discover why specialists carefully study this particular San Francisco issue, what characteristics determine its collector value, and what professionally authenticated examples have achieved in the marketplace. The answers depend on far more than the date alone, making this one of the most fascinating Mercury dimes to examine in detail. The year 1941 marked a pivotal moment in American history. Although the United States had not yet officially entered the Second World War for most of the year, the nation was rapidly expanding industrial production while preparing for the growing possibility of military involvement. Factories were increasing output, employment was recovering from the lingering effects of the Great Depression, and demand for circulating coinage remained healthy as economic activity accelerated. The San Francisco Mint continued producing dimes for circulation throughout the western United States, striking approximately 43 million Mercury dimes bearing the distinctive S mint mark. Compared with earlier low-mintage issues in the series, this production figure makes the 1941 S relatively available in circulated grades, but availability changes dramatically as collectors begin searching for sharply struck, original mint state examples. The Mercury dime itself remains one of the finest artistic achievements ever placed into circulation by the United States Mint. Designed by celebrated sculptor Adolf A. Weinman, the obverse portrays Liberty wearing a winged Phrygian cap, a design frequently mistaken for the Roman messenger god Mercury. The wings actually symbolize freedom of thought, while Liberty's youthful profile represents the ideals of democracy and independence. Surrounding the portrait is the inscription Liberty, with "In God We Trust" positioned beside Liberty's neck, and the date 1941 below. Every detail of Weinman's sculpture reflects the artistic movement of the early 20th century, replacing the rigid, formal appearance of earlier American coinage with flowing lines, natural proportions, and remarkable visual depth. The reverse continues Weinman's symbolic vision through a carefully balanced composition centered around a fasces, an ancient bundle of rods bound together with an axe, representing national unity and lawful authority. Wrapped around the fasces is an olive branch, emphasizing America's enduring preference for peace while maintaining the strength necessary for defense. United States of America curves around the upper rim, EPLUBUSUNUM appears beside the central design, and one dime anchors the lower portion of the coin. The small S mint mark appears on the reverse near the base of the fasces, identifying San Francisco as the place of manufacture. Like every regular issue Mercury dime, the coin consists of 90% silver and 10% copper, weighs approximately 2.5 grams, measures 17.9 millimeters in diameter, and features a reeded edge designed both for durability and to discourage precious metal clipping. Although millions of 1941 S dimes entered commerce, decades of circulation dramatically reduced the number surviving in pristine condition. During the 1960s, when silver prices climbed and the United States abandoned silver coinage for circulating dimes, enormous quantities of older silver coins disappeared from circulation through melting and private hoarding. Countless 1941 Mercury dimes were either worn nearly smooth through everyday use or permanently lost to bullion refiners. Others survived but suffered from cleaning, polishing, scratches, or improper storage, all of which diminish collector appeal. Consequently, while the date itself is not considered rare, finding examples with untouched surfaces, vibrant mint luster, and minimal contact marks becomes increasingly difficult as grading standards become more demanding. Professional grading plays an essential role in determining collector value because condition differences that appear subtle to the untrained eye can translate into substantial market premiums. A circulated example displaying moderate wear generally appeals to collectors assembling complete date and mint sets at an affordable level. Coins grading about uncirculated retain traces of original mint luster while exhibiting only slight friction on Liberty's highest design points. Once a coin enters the mint state category, however, every detail receives close scrutiny. Grading services evaluate strike quality, surface preservation, luster, originality, eye appeal, and the number of distracting contact marks. Attractive certified examples in grades such as MS65 often trade around approximately $1,300 to $2,100, depending on certification, market demand, and overall quality, while average mint state pieces usually bring considerably less. One characteristic receives particularly close attention among advanced Mercury dime collectors: the horizontal bands binding the fasces on the reverse. When these central bands remain completely separated with crisp, uninterrupted definition, grading services may award the coveted full bands designation. This feature reflects exceptional striking quality rather than simple absence of wear, making it one of the most respected indicators of a superior Mercury dime. Even among mint state coins, relatively few exhibit fully defined bands because striking pressure varied during production. As a result, collectors competing for registry quality sets often pursue certified full bands examples aggressively. Depending on grade, originality, and eye appeal, authenticated full band specimens can command prices ranging from roughly $2,400 to over $3,800, demonstrating how one technical characteristic can significantly influence collector demand. Despite the popularity of the 1941 Mercury dime, no widely recognized major die variety exists that transforms this date into an important variety issue comparable to some other Mercury dimes. Minor die cracks, repunched mint marks, or other small die characteristics have occasionally been reported by specialists, but none enjoys broad recognition as a major collectible variety requiring every advanced collector to own one. Likewise, legitimate mint errors such as off-center strikes, clipped planchets, broad strikes, or dramatic retained cuds are genuinely scarce and should always be authenticated individually. Collectors should remain cautious when encountering online claims of spectacular errors unsupported by professional certification. Counterfeit examples also exist, particularly altered coins or deceptive replicas intended to imitate higher-grade pieces. Confirming correct weight, diameter, metallic composition, edge reading, and obtaining certification from respected services, such as PCGS or NGC, remains the safest approach before making a significant purchase. Auction results consistently demonstrate that quality, not simply rarity, drives the strongest prices for this issue. Most authenticated 1941 Mercury dimes sell within predictable ranges based upon certified grade, but exceptional coins possessing extraordinary luster, sharply defined full bands, original surfaces, and outstanding eye appeal frequently outperform standard price guides. Highly competitive registry set collectors often pursue these finest-known examples because even tiny grading differences can influence rankings. While remarkable auction records have been achieved for elite certified specimens, those results belong only to authenticated coins exhibiting exceptional preservation and should never be interpreted as representative of every 1941 Mercury dime discovered in an inherited collection, old coin album, or pocket change accumulated many decades ago. Today, the 1941 Mercury Dime continues to occupy an important place within one of America's most admired coin series because it combines beautiful design, precious metal composition, historical context, and the rewarding challenge of locating truly exceptional examples. Collectors seeking long-term quality should favor coins with natural silver surfaces, original mint luster, and certified authenticity, while avoiding harshly cleaned or artificially altered pieces whose appearance may seem attractive at first, but rarely maintains strong market demand. Proper preservation in inert archival holders, stable humidity, moderate temperatures, and careful handling only by the edges helps protect both the coin's appearance and future desirability. More than 8 decades after leaving the presses of the San Francisco Mint, the 1941 Mercury Dime remains a lasting reminder that even a coin produced in the tens of millions can become genuinely special when history, craftsmanship, originality, and outstanding preservation come together in a single authenticated survivor.